I have got all of 8 minutes to tell you how we do pasture-fed beef and lamb. But as Sarah pointed out, every single farm in the country is different, so I feel I've just got to quickly run through our particular farm. So we're 70 hectares, we're outside Sevenoaks in West Kent. I always feel that we're a small farm, but actually it's worth noting that the average size farm in the UK is 60 hectares. So perhaps we're more average than I think. We rent in about a further 20 hectares of conservation grazing, which we can use over the winter. The farm is basically heavy clay soils, but we've got a lovely bit of green sand ridge, which means that we can out-winter stock. We've been there for 30 years, and throughout that time, our decisions on what we've decided to do with the farm, I have to say, have largely been dictated by grants and subsidies that are available to us. But we have a strong feeling for conservation, which we've always done, and we have also always wanted to manage the farm on a low input basis, low cost, low capital costs, low running costs, and that's really led most of the decisions throughout. So in 2000 we converted to organic under the Soil Association, and about 4 years ago we put the whole farm into high-level stewardship. So the high-level stewardship are basically on meadow restorations. We've got lovely meadows. They're now, having been organic since 2000, they're rich with clover, trefoils and vetches. And we're part of a project with the local wildlife trust in spreading green hay. So green, wildflower-rich seed from our fields go across the county. So that's basically the farm. And as far as we're concerned, a natural partner to us in all of that is to be pasture-fed. We've never fed grain to our livestock, and we're very happy with the results that we get. So just running through the main enterprises, we have a small suckler herd of traditional Herefords. We have about 15 or 16 cows, and our limiting factor there is frankly barn space over the winter. We don't especially want to invest in more barns. There they are inside. I think I'll probably go straight on to these. Well, I'll just tell you roughly. We've got the Herefords. We then have Clin ewes. We've got about 150 Clin ewes. We've just recently transferred to them from a fairly motley collection of Romney crosses, and we're not entirely pleased with the Clins, but anyway, we're there now. We've got a couple of saddleback pigs, and we do a lot of poultry, mainly seasonal over the summer, and those are fed off our high-level stewardship cereal grounds, which we do specially for spring-planted cereals for the farmland birds, and we undersow them for our fertility growing with clover mix lays. So on our Herefords, they're fed nothing except for our own homegrown haylage or hay, mainly from our wildflower meadows, so it's very rich in biodiversity, but probably pretty low in protein because we don't cut the hay until after the 15th of July. So the pregnant cows and heifers come inside in November. And the young stock, I'm really pleased to say, we take all of our stock through to finishing at 30 months, where we achieve weights of 300 kilos on the hook. Sometimes as high as 340 and even 350. Unfortunately, in the last couple of years, dropping down below the 300 kilo mark, and I think that's partly a consequence of lots of wet weather. They've been eating a lot of wet grass, and if you're pasture-fed, you can't really supplement with them anything. Plus the fact we seem to have got some sort of trace element deficiency on the farm, possibly. So these lot that are outside, we try and manage the grazing, so basically there's nothing being grazed in on that bank since the end of the summer, and ideally we don't end up feeding them any haylage or hay at all, but of course there are years when we do end up having to do that. We get the cows out as soon as we can, as soon as the fields are dry, even if the grass hasn't started to grow in April. Calve outside, incredibly easy calving with Herefords. We've been doing it, 14 years, and we have only ever had 2 cows that have been barren in the whole of that time, and I think I've probably helped about 2 or 3 cows to actually calf. This is a heifer having had her first calf this year. So our inputs are incredibly low on the cattle. They're very easy. I think traditional Herefords are a marvellous breed to have if you want to go pasture-fed. Moving on to the sheep then, again, our emphasis is on low input. We generally lamb outside. We'll bring in maybe first-time lambers, triplets, a few that we think we're going to help with, but we only bring them in literally on the day that we're due to start lambing, so we have no build-up of disease. Our lambing is incredibly disease-free. We moved to clins, I think partly because we wanted to change, but they're prolific, they're easy care, they're easy doers, they lamb very easily, but we have got an issue this year for the first time ever, having normally finished at least 80% of our lamb by the end of the autumn. We have done nothing like that this year, and instead of carrying 20 lambs over the winter, I've actually got 100 lambs left on the farm. We believe it's a trace element deficiency on the farm, which has never reared its head before, but apparently clins are more susceptible to that than others. So being pasture-fed, we haven't got many options, really. We could sell them off the farm, but we've been really lucky, and one of our neighbours is fencing a field, and we'll hopefully carry them on through that. And actually, we'll sell them as hogget in the spring, and we'll get a far better price for them than we would have done in the summer. So maybe we won't regret it so much, but we have got a problem. Very prolific, but I'd be interested in who's got other views about clins. So those are basically our costs, incredibly low. How do we sell our meat? We try and sell most of it locally. I have an email system. I've got about 200 customers. We do meat in batches, so it's hard work selling at one time. We might be doing 10 pigs at a time, a trailer load of lambs, and maybe a couple of steers, all very seasonal. So I have to work very hard to get our customers to come to the farm. We pre-sell a lot of it. We aim to sell it to people who want to pop it in their freezers. So we do really good value on whole lambs, half lambs, boxes of beef. We try and encourage our customers as far as we can to make stock, to take the livers, to use the trotters, the cheeks, everything they can. Most of the time they don't, and I end up with it in my freezer and give it to those few customers who do want to. So when our meat's ready, we take it down to an organic abattoir. It's hung and it's butchered down there, and it comes back to the farm. We set up our pop-up shop, which you saw in the video. And this is the sort of amount, that is a half lamb, butchered according to their requirements. So I try and sell most of it like that, and that is our pop-up shop. That actually photograph, Caroline, you'd be very impressed with us. We open for Open Farm Sunday every year now, and we had 600 visitors last year. So we basically open the fridges, open up a table, and people can buy stuff off us. It's extremely hard work selling lamb like that, or beef, or pork, or anything. And one of the things I've realised is that although, of course, we get in a bit more money, if I paid somebody else to do it, it just wouldn't be worth it. We can get quite a good price selling lamb by the kilo to local restaurants, and there's a butcher who will take it as well. But neither of them will advertise it as organic or grass-fed because they don't want to have to say no to their customers when they haven't got it. So this is the way that I keep our meat really special, by selling it directly to people. And what I've loved most of all is meeting our customers. We have the most amazing customers. And all I can say is in the last 2 or 3 years, we have got increasing numbers of customers who come to us because we're pasture-fed. And I know those customers are going to stick with us because they come quite a long way to get our meat. And I really think that being pasture-fed is the way forward. It's far better for us than selling it as organic. So I urge you all to really consider conversion to pasture-fed if you can, and if you're a consumer, for goodness sake, don't buy anything else other than pasture-fed. And that's my last little video, which is our horrible lambs who are left over from this year. That is a drawback of pasture-fed, plus the fact we've got organic and higher level stewardship restrictions on us, and we have now got many more sheep to take over the winter that we'd really have liked. Luckily, we're going to manage it. Thank you very much, everyone.